Imagine hearing knocks in the dead of night, whispers calling your name, and feeling something unseen stalking your every move. This is the true story of the Bell Witch, a haunting so terrifying even a future president fled in fear. The Bell family lived a peaceful life on their Tennessee farm in 1817. Strange things began to happen. It started subtly with unexplained knocking sounds in the night. These knocks echoed through the old farmhouse. The family initially dismissed them as the house settling, but the sounds grew more insistent, more frequent. The knocking soon escalated to scratching. An unsettling feeling of dread began to permeate the Bell home. The family's peaceful nights were shattered. They were replaced by an unnerving sense of being watched. The darkness held an unknown entity. Their once safe haven was now a source of constant fear. Objects began to move on their own. Furniture would shift inexplicably. The haunting was just beginning. The entity focused its malevolence on young Betsy Bell, a vibrant and lively girl who had her whole life ahead of her. Night after night, she endured unseen attacks that left her physically and emotionally drained. The invisible force would pull her hair, slap and pinch her relentlessly, leaving marks and bruises that told a tale of unseen horrors. Betsy's screams echoed through the farmhouse, a chilling reminder of the torment she faced. The family watched helplessly as their daughter suffered, their hearts breaking with each cry for help. Betsy's once vibrant spirit began to dim, her laughter replaced by tears and her joy by fear. The constant attacks took their toll, leaving her with dark circles under her eyes and a perpetual look of terror. She became withdrawn and fearful, always looking over her shoulder, expecting the next attack. The invisible entity seemed to revel in her suffering, its presence a constant malevolent force in her life. Betsy's nightmares bled into her waking hours, blurring the line between reality and the horrific dreams that haunted her. The family tried everything to protect Betsy, gathering in prayer and seeking divine intervention. They moved her to different rooms, hoping to escape the entity's grasp, but it followed her everywhere. But nothing seemed to deter the relentless attacks, and the family grew more desperate with each passing day. The entity revealed itself to be a vengeful spirit called the Bell Witch, a name that would become synonymous with terror. Its sole purpose seemed to be the destruction of Betsy Bell and her family, a nightmare from which there was no waking. Word of the haunting spread like wildfire through the small community. The whispers started in hushed tones, but soon everyone was talking about it. The fear was palpable, and it seemed to grow with each retelling of the events. Neighbors and curious onlookers flocked to the Bell farm. The once quiet and serene farmhouse now became the center of attention, drawing people from all corners of the town. They wanted to witness the strange occurrences firsthand. The stories they had heard were too incredible to believe without seeing for themselves. Some came to offer support to the beleaguered family. They brought food, blankets, and words of comfort, hoping to ease the family's suffering. Others came seeking a thrill, a glimpse into the supernatural. They were drawn by the allure of the unknown, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghostly figure or hear the eerie sounds for themselves. The Bell farm became a spectacle. It was no longer just a home, it was a place of mystery and fear, a magnet for those seeking answers or simply a story to tell. Many witnesses corroborated the family's accounts. They spoke of the same strange noises, the same inexplicable movements, and the same sense of dread that seemed to hang in the air. They heard the knocking and scratching. The sounds were unmistakable, and they seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. They saw objects move on their own. They witnessed Betsy's torment. The young girl seemed to be the focus of the haunting, and her fear was evident to all who saw her. The community was gripped by fear. The haunting was no longer just a story. It was a reality that affected everyone. The Bell Witch was not just a family's nightmare. It was a shared terror that spread through the town, binding the community together in a collective fear. It was a shared terror that bound the community together in fear. People found solace in each other's company, knowing they were not alone in their fear. The stories of the haunting grew more elaborate with each telling. Each person added their own details, their own experiences, making the tale even more terrifying. The Bell family became isolated. The haunting had not only terrorized them, but had also torn apart the fabric of their social lives. The tales of the Bell Witch reached the ears of General Andrew Jackson, a man who was not easily swayed by mere stories or superstitions. Jackson, a man known for his bravery and unyielding spirit, decided to investigate the haunting himself. He was a seasoned military leader, accustomed to facing danger head-on. He arrived at the Bell farm with a group of his most trusted soldiers, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. The farmhouse, nestled in the rural Tennessee landscape, seemed peaceful at first glance. Jackson was determined to debunk the stories of the Bell Witch. He believed that the tales were nothing more than the product of overactive imaginations and local folklore. However, the witch greeted Jackson and his men with a terrifying display of its power. The air grew cold, and an eerie silence fell over the farmhouse. Suddenly, furniture flew across the room as if propelled by an unseen force. Chairs and tables crashed against the walls, creating a chaotic scene. Invisible hands slapped and pinched the soldiers, leaving them bewildered and in pain. The men who had faced countless battles were now confronted with an enemy they could not see or fight. Jackson's skepticism quickly turned to fear as he realized the stories were true. The Bell Witch was not a mere legend, it was a powerful and malevolent force. He and his men fled the farmhouse in terror, their courage shattered by the supernatural encounter. The once brave soldiers were now reduced to frightened men, desperate to escape the witch's wrath. They admitted defeat to the unseen entity, acknowledging that they were powerless against its might. The experience left a lasting impression on Jackson and his men. Jackson's encounter with the Bell Witch cemented the haunting's place in American folklore. The story of the Bell Witch spread far and wide, captivating the imaginations of people across the nation. It was no longer just a local legend whispered among the residents of Tennessee. The tale of the Bell Witch had become a national phenomenon. It was a national story, discussed in newspapers and drawing the attention of people from all walks of life. The Bell Witch had become a symbol of the unknown and the supernatural. The witch's power seemed limitless, capable of instilling fear in even the bravest of men. Its presence was a reminder that some forces in the world were beyond human understanding. The Bell Witch was a force to be reckoned with, an unstoppable entity that left an indelible mark on American history and folklore. The haunting continued relentlessly. John Bell, the patriarch of the family, became the witch's final target. His health deteriorated rapidly. He suffered from mysterious ailments. The witch seemed to be draining the life out of him. In 1820, John Bell died under mysterious circumstances. A vial of unknown liquid was found near his bedside. It was speculated that the witch had poisoned him. The family mourned their loss. They were also relieved that their tormentor had finally moved on. But their relief was short-lived. As the family gathered for John Bell's funeral, a chilling voice echoed through the air. It was the voice of the Bell Witch. It promised to return in 7 years to haunt Betsy Bell and her descendants. The Bell Witch's legacy of fear lived on.